Shabbos. How's this? Can you hear me okay? All right, so I want to welcome everyone and say Shabbat Shalom. How's this? Is this okay, Pete? If you can't hear me, please let me know. I am Rabbi Riki, the Rabbah of Beit Ahava, and I want to welcome our members and also Rissa's family and friends and community to be with us on this Shabbat, and also welcoming people who have joined us from Rissa's family and our friends who are also in the live stream, I believe, tonight, who are here. So if anyone wants to talk or connect directly to them, also we have a really great audio-visual, the camera is right back there too, so you'll be able to, I think it's kind of wide, I'm not sure if they can see you, but we want to welcome everyone here. And we're all so sad, and all so sad and just devastated at the loss of our beloved Rissa, who died on Sunday, and it's just still so shocking. And we had this Shabbat service already planned this week, and we just felt that we would dedicate it to Rissa and also walk the space where even in mourning we embrace Shabbat of rest, and that was so important to in my connection with Rissa. And I got to see her a lot more often than not on Shabbat, because that was the community that I would get to see her in, would be often right here. So so I very much feel her presence, and I want to welcome also Becky Slitt and Lisa Perlman, who are our prayer and practice committee, which has been Becky and Lisa and me and Rissa, and sometimes Ruth, or yes, Ruth, often Ruth, and just really feeling our holy sisterhood too with Rissa. I just wanted to welcome everyone. So this prayer book is right here, and if you need a prayer, does anyone need a prayer book? We can bring some more in. Do you all have one? It has prayers, it has readings, there's translations, there's alternate readings, and I always say that what might call us is not necessarily what page we're on as a group. So if something else within the prayer book calls on you as a prayer or meditation, just it's wonderful to just go with that and see how that might feed your soul in this moment. But we'll start on page 10. And Becky and Lisa are also our singers, so our holiday singers, and throughout the year too sometimes. So we'll invite everyone to sing with us when you feel so moved, but we are a very singing congregation. And then at some point I was going to probably share a few words and just thoughts right now about Rissa, and we'll have some time in the service also for us for others who might want to share also. And just want to bring everyone into our service. Welcome, folks. We're on page 10 at the top. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim achayot gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is to be here as friends and sisters and brothers and sisters and family and cousins all together. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achayot gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achayot gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחיות גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחיות גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחיות גם יחד. And the next song on page 10, Ma Yafeh Hayom Shabbat Shalom. So shalom means peace. It also means rest. It also means wholeness. So I want to just invite us to take a moment. I know we're all thinking of Rissa, and let's just meditate for a moment on what that word shalom means, peace and wholeness, as we send peace and wholeness to Rissa and also to all of us and to all of her family. Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Thought we could sing Shabbat Hamalka at the bottom of page 10, and I just would say just a little word about the prayer, the song. It's on the bottom of page 10 is called Shabbat Hamalka, or the Sabbath, the Queen. It's from a Bialik, Chaim Nachman Bialik poem, and it's very famous about bringing in the Sabbath bride. But I'm just really thinking of Rissa too, and how even the words are about the sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen, and how even in this time that's so hard, we are bringing in the light and the goodness of Rissa and her spirit and who she is and her legacy. And so we'll sing the song, and then we're going to light our Shabbat candles.
Thank you. This melody is by another spiritual mentor of mine who, like Rissa, now of blessed memory, Rabbi Simeon Glazer, who was my rabbi when I was growing up in West Hartford. And I've been stealthily introducing it into the Beit Ahava repertoire. So some of you are starting to know it by now, I hope. Hachama merosh ha'ilanot nistalka b'vanetzer likrat Shabbat hamalka b'vanetzer likrat Shabbat Merosh Hailanot Nistaka Bovanetze Likrat Shabbat Hamalka Bovanetze Likrat Shabbat Hamalka.
Let's turn back to page 2 for our Shabbat candle lighting. Is there anyone who would like to have the honor of lighting the Shabbat candles? And I'll sing with you. We'll sing all together. Okay. Thank you. Lisa's going to light them. What was that? You'll light them? Great. Thank you. This moment, so we can make space, embracing love and light and peace. Just light, and then we'll sing the blessing. And then we usually circle after. Let's turn to page 13 in our Siddur. The words are Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Sing to God a new song, sing to God all the earth. So it's been so cold. And then this terrible thing happened. So it feels really hard to sing right now. But I think we can imagine also that the earth is holding and supporting us and supporting you and your family and Rissa right now. Then we can bring in a song in our hearts. So we'll Shir the prayer Lechado Di, which is on page 20. And I thought we would say a few words about the prayer and this thing that I'm not sure who started it. Maybe it was Becky or and Rissa and Lisa. Everyone was very into it, which was called Study Shabbat, and that was one of your ideas, right? It was Becky, and we do this thing here that we started about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, called or 2 years ago, Study Shabbat. And what it is we have a Shabbat service where each member of our committee studies a prayer, and then when people come, we break into small groups, usually about 3 or 4 people each, and then we learn about a prayer together as a group. And the idea is that we write a kavanah, or an intention, about that prayer, and then when we come back together, that group leads that part of the service and brings a deeper understanding that comes out of their learning in that particular moment. So I have these wonderful files and Google files, and one of the prayers that Rissa presented and learned and taught us about was Lechado Di, which is the song now. So I printed out her, I guess it was her handout, but she had these incredible, so I made some copies of them, and if you want the whole thing later, I'd be very happy to share it with you, or I could pass them out now if anybody wants one. But I thought I would just say a few words about what Rissa had taught us about this prayer, Lechado Di, which is on page 20 and 21. Maybe we could just read a little part of it. Would that be just a paragraph? It's well, I'll just give it to you guys so you can, since you know. We'll just, if we want to jump in with anything. So Rissa asked the prayer is a love song to Shabbat, where we actually go out into the fields and we welcome the Sabbath bride. And then there are all of these verses. But Rissa wrote these 3 questions at the top, which were, how do you feel when you sing Lechado Di or listen? What are the actions of the Lechado Di, and do they give an intention? And what does welcoming mean? So I want to bring those questions and keep pondering them. And she wrote a few just really beautiful things, that there are over 2,000 melodies for Lechado Di, which means come, my beloved. And this week I've gotten to know Jason more than I had before, really. And when we picked these prayers, and everyone picked one, and she picked, I guess, Lechado Di that day, I just want to say it's so beautiful to meet you, her beloved. And just to imagine, I guess, now with the insights of this week, that when she sang Lechado Di, she also had you in mind, I'm sure, or I'm imagining that. She said that Shabbat is not only a day of rest, peace, and joy, but also a day of song. The Lechado Di is poetry based on quotes of the Bible and Talmud, arranged in such a way that it leaves one with a sense of the lost and found element, a lover being reunited with his beloved. This concept of the unification of the lover is a metaphor for a coming together of the feminine and masculine aspects of divine emanation that need to be realigned to face one another and enter into a state of spiritual intimacy. This idea of 2 parts being reunited is also the metaphor for the divine presence, the Holy One, blessed be He, which represents the 6 divine emotions, of which Tiferet is the center, uniting with the Shekhinah, which is the indwelling of the divine, whose presence is felt in the world. So there's more that she taught us to learn about that. But do you all want to say anything else? Those are some good ones. Yeah. So maybe we'll sing Lechado Di on page 20. And there's a custom of we sing the first 4 verses, and there's a custom of that we rise when we get to we jump to the last verse, which means welcome the Sabbath Queen, and we welcome the bride, and we face the back of the sanctuary and sort of turn the tides, and the front becomes the back, and the back becomes the front, and then we turn back. So when we get to the end, we'll stand. What tune do you think we should do of the 2,000 tunes? Like I usually.
Slow waltz.
L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Let's do it one more time.
L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet ve'tila. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki lekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh Shabbat tehila. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech melucha, kumitzei mitoch hafecha. Rav lachshev ve'emek havacha, ve'hu yachamol alayech ela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Inarim afar kumi, Lishti b'partecha mi'ayad Ben-Ishai B'talachmi karve'an shige'ala. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret hanan, Gam b'simcha u'b'tehola. Tov emunei am segula. Boi kala, Boi kala. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat
28, actually 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba V'yama divrach v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'vyomechon U'chayei kol Beit Yisrael B'gala U'bizman hariv V'yimeru Yehei Rabba Levorach Le'alam Le'amaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitbar V'yidroma V'yinaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Dekudasha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damira Ve'ama V'yimeru Amen. On page 28, we continue standing for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Turn to page 30 for the prayer Hama'ariv, our Avim, blessing God who brings on evenings and the changes of the seasons and day into night and night into day. And we'll let's read this in English tonight. It's on the bottom half of page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are a creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. And we could sing a chant, our Ahava chant, which we haven't sung it in a little while, maybe with harmonies and rounds or... We have there's 3 parts and that we sing, and we haven't done it, I don't think, since a little while, but maybe the high holidays. And the words are not in the book, unfortunately, and I did not bring them, so I apologize. But I'll share them, and you can sing along, and it repeats so many times. They're all words for love and peace in Hebrew, of which there are so many words in our language. So the first is ahava, which means love. So we'll all say that one. Ahava. And rachamim, say that one. Rachamim, which is compassion or wombs. Gosh, who was telling me this? this week. Carrie was telling me that she learned, I think, from Gavin at one of the Shivas last night that Rissa created a Haggadah for Passover, and that in it her writing or understanding and teaching about the parting of the Red Sea is that the Israelites were going through a womb, and these were the waters of the womb that were opening to birth the Jewish people and to birth freedom. And I just love that. And we've also been, Becky called her our intellectual midwife of Torah of our community this week, and really, that is really Rissa. So Rachamim also means wombs and compassion. So ahava, ve means and, v'rachamim, chesed, which is another word for loving kindness, so we can all say that one, chesed. So like rachamim is what God bestows upon us, just out of pure love, like the way you love someone just for who they are. And chesed is what we show to each other. This is like the loving kindness, the deeds of loving kindness that we do, compassion for each other. That also just flows. And then shalom, which is peace again, and wholeness. So join in with us once you know it or if you don't. And then we're going to turn right to page 34 right after this, and we'll sing the Shema at that page 36, that you have to actually love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your being. Is on page 40, and this is the song that the Israelites sang at the Red Sea to freedom. And even though we're going to probably, I'll say some more words about Rissa and later in the service, I also wanted to say that we're in the book of Exodus right now in Shemot. We haven't gotten to the part of the splitting of the sea yet, but we're getting closer to that, and which is where Micha Mocha comes from. And last week was the beginning of the story of Shemot, and so I got to go to the hospital on Friday afternoon and be with you all, and early Saturday morning, Shabbat morning, I was texting, I think, with you, Anna, and maybe Jason, and we were talking about the Torah portion, that it was Shemot, and that it's all about the story of the midwives saving the Hebrew baby boys alive and defying Pharaoh, and really being the model of allies and saving children alive despite these horrible orders. And there was also Miriam and her mother Yocheved, and Moses is the baby in the basket, and her brother and Aaron, and Pharaoh's daughter, who the rabbis named Batya, which was also Rissa's mom's Hebrew name. It was Basha Fregeau. Am I getting it right? Make sure I have her name right. I think that's her name, Basha Fregeau, or Fegi, also, but Batya in Hebrew, which means the daughter of God. So, and then I learned later that I guess Mark and Lisa's daughter, I think Aviva, sang the whole Torah portion to Rissa. So I thought that would be a good idea to sing it to Rissa, who's our Torah chanter. So, and then the second part that we'll talk about maybe later is that Sunday night at our board meeting, we were looking at the name tags. We have someone in our congregation who makes really beautiful name tags for everyone who wants one, and has a form that you fill out and ask some questions like, what are your favorite symbols of Judaism? What symbolizes Judaism to you? And I looked at the name tag of Rissa, and it had a chamsa on it, and I think someone meditating, and a frog. And Nick said that that's what she wrote, frogs for Passover. So this week, right now, is the beginning of the 10 plagues, is where we are in the Torah portion. We have the first portion of the 10 plagues, and it's all about the frogs. And I was going to say it later, but I'll just say it now. So I looked up the frogs in honor of Rissa in the Torah portion, and I always thought it was just, for some reason in my memory, just frogs. But actually, there's a whole very long section about frogs, and it says the frogs, Sephardi, about 8 times. And there's a lot of frogs jumping around. And then, just to sort of have fun, I highlighted all the frogs in green when I was printing it out, and it was very nice to see so many frogs. And so I just wanted to say that I love that, and I will always be thinking about that. And I thought I would study about what the frogs really mean, and I just didn't get to that yet. So I'm planting that seed. Oh, you have something to say?
I have something about the frogs.
Yes, please do.
He's also thinking about Rissa today and the frogs. So I think it was Rashi, who is otherwise like a very serious scholar, has this weirdly whimsical image. So he noticed that in the Torah, the word for frog is Sfardea, and the word for frogs, plural, would be Sfardim, or Sfardim. Anyway, he noticed that at the beginning of the Torah portion, it was singular, frog. So he imagined this image of this one giant frog. But goes on to have a beautiful, later scholars have created this beautiful teaching, because later in the portion, it talks about plural frogs. And so the later adaptation of this teaching was, yes, there was only one frog at the beginning. And then the Egyptians struck at the frog with their staff, and then it fragmented into thousands of frogs. So the frog of righteousness, when the powers of evil try to strike at the forces of righteousness, it doesn't destroy it, it just fragments it into more and more righteousness to scatter further everywhere.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. You want to read us?
Yes.
Okay, we're on page 40. That was really beautiful. And so fitting for Rissa, and also so fitting for the times that we're in right now. Maybe that's one of the ways she continues teaching us. Mi
Chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele, yai 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 yai.
Chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael. On page 42 at the bottom, our prayer for peace for us, for all the world, for Jerusalem, and all who seek peace.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ata Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
On page 40 is Shamru, our prayer for Shabbat, and we'll sing it in the Debbie Friedman melody. It was also Debbie Friedman's Yortzeit last week. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat.
Page 44.
La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat vayinachash Shabbat Shabbat vayinachash. We'll turn to page 46 for the Amidah, our standing prayer. Please rise in body or in spirit. And we'll do the first three prayers of the Amidah together, and then there'll be time to continue silently, either the words in your heart or the rest of the words in the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot U'mevii Geula L'ifnei Bneihem L'man Shmo Yahava Melech Ozer Mashiach Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Raham V'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Ve'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKolot Hara L'Hoshia Mashiach Ruach Morid Hadashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emnato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Lemit Umechayei Umatziach Yeshua V'ne'emarta l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai b'chayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yalavuch haselah Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech HaKadosh.
can continue silently or join us on page 60 for Shalom Rav, the great peace. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Let's turn to page 253 for our healing blessing, a prayer for healing. We want to send comfort and healing to Rissa's family, to Jason, her husband, and to her son, Gavin, and to her dear siblings, Marla and Donnie and Sam, and to their families and large extended family, and to Rissa's close lifelong friends and loving community, and to all of us. If you'd like to share names of those you're thinking of that you want to send healing of body, healing of mind, and healing of spirit, we'll share their names as we go around.
Ellen Boyer and George Vanderlander, Bev and Jim Whitbeck.
Shlomo Aryeh Ben Miriam Beyudi Di Bad Tila Vidavi Tila Bad Bela.
Nicole Lawrence McNeil, Betty Wilson, Rich Corral, Stephen Marcus, Lisa Rossetti.
Alan LaFleche.
Carol Kaplan, Sam.
Martha Risha. Fred Colo. Jason Fisher.
Gavin Fregeau.
I also want to send healing to all those who've been affected in this country and other countries by ICE and by conflict and by war, Israelis, Palestinians, to all those in the world who are in need of healing. We're on page 253. Mi sheberach Avotenu Mekol
to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu, mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom also to those who are joining us in the live stream. We're so glad that you're here. And we send comfort and love and peace. Thought I'd say a few words about Rissa, and then we'll open it up if others would like to share either a memory or just some words of comfort, or how you might be feeling, or words. I like to think of it as words of comfort to those, to her family that are here. So on Sunday, our president Peter said Rissa was a pillar of our community, and that just really resonated. And I thought exactly. This was early Sunday morning, and then I spoke with Bobby, and he just said, I'm heartbroken. That word really helped articulate. Rissa was, just wrote a few thoughts. Rissa was a brilliant woman. She was a dear friend, a pillar of our community, our teacher and midwife of Torah. Thanks to Becky for that one. She embodied the Torah that she loved, which she sang, taught, and challenged herself to learn to chant Torah. She led us in so many ways. She served on the prayer and practice committee. She served as our Torah service coordinator, and she was also a gabbai, the person who helps the other Torah readers read, and it really means my back, and I really feel like Rissa had our back. She was also a leader on the High Holidays Committee. Rissa baked the most incredible breads and challah. We have some other great challah bakers here too. I just want to say we have a community of challah bakers. Hers were really good. She lifted up our Judaism in so many ways, teaching us always through her example. She taught us about hospitality as a Jewish virtue, cooking food and bringing meals for the sick, arranging hosts and cooking meals for guests, deep learning on issues to learn and embody values and tradition in empowered ways within our community. There's a midrash, a rabbinic story, that when Pharaoh's daughter found the basket on the Nile River and looked in to see the baby, she saw the face of the Shekhinah, God's divine, feminine, indwelling presence radiating out. And I can only feel that Rissa was that brilliant face of the Shekhinah, and that she was a light to everyone whom she encountered. The traditional words in Judaism that we say when we found out that someone has died are Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, which means blessed is the judge of truth. And it feels often harsh to say that in that moment. But I was once told by an Eden Village camp leader that the words at a time of a truly difficult and tragic loss can be understood as Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, blessed is the one who is with us and gives us the strength to be in the world with this difficult truth. her Hebrew and her Yiddish name. There was a lot of back and forth about what her names are, so she has Yiddish name and Hebrew name. Her Yiddish name is Masha, and her Hebrew name is Rachel. So her Hebrew, I put them all together: Masha, Rachel, Bat, Basha, Fregeau, Batya, Ephraim, Fischel. And I want us to continue to pray in whatever language or meditation that moves our spirits for Rissa's sweet, beautiful soul to have an ascension of peace and peacefulness. And may she be in her fullness and her wholeness and her love, and to know that she is so loved and beloved, and that we know and that we felt her love, and we continue to feel her love, and we will continue to feel it again and again in the gifts that she bestowed upon those she loved and shared her gifts with. And I just also wanted to say a word about food. We have a food meal train for Jason to bring food. And when I went in to make the new meal train, the last meal train was the meal train for Rissa when her mom passed away in May. And I just couldn't believe it was so soon. But it was Rissa who was always the one who was really great about signing up for the meal trains and bringing food to those who were sick or in mourning. She brought my son and me the most incredible soup and a loaf of bread that was still warm, like she just baked it 2 summers ago when my son and I had caught COVID. And my son Hanina and I literally still talk about that bread all the time. Do you remember the best bread we ever had? Rissa also home-cooked delicious meals for our Magevet singers, the Yale a cappella singers that we've brought 2 years in a row, and we're bringing them back in March. And I can only imagine that we'll probably make that service be in honor of Rissa, and Rissa was the one who would arrange housing for sometimes up to 10 or 12 young adults, college students, and then sometimes she would arrange it with all the people in the community. So many wonderful people were willing to host them overnight, and she took such great care. Who was kosher, who needed to walk and be in walking distance, did they want to be with another friend or not? And sometimes the singers, because they're college students, at the last minute would change their mind about staying over in Northampton, much to the disappointment of Rissa and some frustration after making so many arrangements. But she was so gracious and also understanding, and made sure to be forgiving, but also to teach them that this year, if we set up a place for them, they will come. We were in that process and had conversations. But she would also cook the delicious meals for them. In the first year that she did that, I guess that was when I became aware of her cooking, because I did not understand in all the meetings what it meant that she was going to do the cooking for all of them before services. And she did. She cooked amazing salmon and vegetables, and she did it in tin foil. So it was wrapped so it could be kosher for the ones who cared about more strict kashrut, and she brought it to the memorial room right here, and they got to have a really amazing, warm, home-cooked meal before they came and sang for us. And now that I have a college student, I just especially appreciate what that means to cook a meal for a college student who doesn't get to have such home-cooked meals so often. And she also herself was allergic to sulfites, and every time I would have to say, what are sulfites? But she was so thoughtful and patient and generous and inclusive about other people's needs for nourishment. And I wanted to say that we can say, Zecher Tzadika Livracha, may her memory as a righteous woman be a blessing. So I think I'll just pause there and invite others who may wish to share about Rissa or share.
Since we're talking about food, I will occasionally lead services, and on those times when I lead services, I also bring the oneg with me. And I'm a big fan of Trader Joe's because I can go and just grab a whole bunch of stuff and it comes in resealable packages, which is wonderful. And I picked up, because I love them, a container of the triple ginger cookies, and I was putting them down on the table, and Rissa sidled over and picked it up and read all of the ingredients, and she said, "I can eat these." And I said, "Great." And then every time after that that I had oneg or that we were doing prayer and practice, study Shabbat or event, I would bring the triple ginger cookies. And about 4 or 5 times into this, Rissa said, "You always bring these." And I said, "Yes, because you like them and you can eat them." And she went, "Oh." She was all so excited, and it was just wonderful. So, and I also appreciate in all of our Zoom-related prayer and practice meetings that inevitably her cat would come and visit, and she would say, "Yep, he's here, move along." It was just wonderful, and she will be very deeply missed.
The last time I saw Rissa was when Anna Sobel had her kirtan, thank you. And I went to the kitchen and there was this massive bowl of the most beautiful citrus fruit. And I was like, wow, that looks fantastic, but I can't eat. That would make me so sick to have any of that. And Rissa said, "Oh, me too, but I brought it for other people to enjoy." And that really stuck with me, that even though she couldn't enjoy it, she thought, let's bring these little bits of sunshine for everybody else. I just wonder,
Do you want to stand
one
up?
little word about Rissa, but I come from a family with a lot of lawyers who have to impress other lawyers in their lives. And Rissa was one of the most unpretentious, down-to-earth people I've ever met. And she didn't care about any of that stuff, from what I could tell.
I am Anna. Rissa's been my best friend since 6th grade. I'm devastated. But I love hearing about how she's such a teacher, and she was. She was a wonderful teacher, great learner. I love that story about the frog. She was also a lot of fun. I just want people to know that. And we last year, I think it was, went to Brattleboro for a weekend to celebrate 50 plus years of friendship, and we had a blast. We went out to eat, we had a glass of wine, we talked trash, we just had a super good time. And so she wasn't just this sort of erudite, wonderful, like, take control of all the committees person. She was also deeply fun to be with. Can't even believe she's gone.
I don't want to put anyone to the spot, but I would love to hear about like what her connection in the theater and arts community, or any of the ways that you all got to experience.
Some of the players will never be the same because all the stuff she did here, she took just as much charge there. I mean, I'm sure there are meeting minutes that have ideas Rissa has put through that will continue to work, and it's because everything she said, I said, I'm backing that one up. She she said, we are not unmasking, we're not doing it. And she was like that with everything. She was amazing.
I've known Rissa for probably about 3, maybe 2 years, and I'm fairly new to theater. And when I basically went, she took me in with open arms and kind of taught me all the theater talk and some of the other stuff inside the world, and just probably one of the most accepting people I've ever met. And one of my favorite memories that I have is before the show goes on, a lot of times we'll have music, like house music. So they would do Rocky Horror, and that's one of my favorite shows and everything. And Rissa and myself would always kind of dance to it. Like, even though like I'm up high on a podium kind of thing, and she's down making sure everything's running. But it was the coolest kind of memory, because we just lock eyes and start doing a little cool dance. And it was awesome. That's when I know the show's about to start, and that meant a lot to me. So, thank you.
One of the last times I saw Rissa, she was in charge of like getting all the concession stuff for the concession table for the theater and stuff. And last time I saw her, I was the one who helped her bring in all the concession stuff. And I'm really happy I got to help her one last time. That was really special to me, and I can't believe she's gone.
This one is mine, and he is our youngest stage member of the Suffield Players. And he went on stage into an adult role because Rissa looked at me and said, "Put him on stage. He's the best one for the job." In that way that she had of just saying, "Why are we even talking about this anymore? Just do it." It's the right thing to do. She is a warrior of all of the things that she did. And I was talking to Jason yesterday, and I had recently had somebody say to me that the person who is for you is the person who's for you when it's not their turn. And Rissa was not the director of the theater. She wasn't the actress on stage. She was the base. She was the one who was there for all of us when it wasn't her turn. And she was the one who made a home. I came in 3 years ago. She produced every show I've directed there. Jason Stage produced every show I've directed there. They made me family. They have taken care of me and mine, and she is the base of the community. She's clearly the base of this community, and she will continue to be that because we will continue to honor her. Her words are entwined in every bit of the charters.
Every single thing we have written has hers.
So she will continue to be our base in our art as we go forward. And she was fun. Yes. And she was fun. She was very fun.
I knew she was fun a little. But because at the end of her mom's, we had a Shiva at your house last May for her mom, and so, you know, there were so many people, and I started to learn she has so many of these like very traditional Jewish friends that came, and near and far, and other friends that came near and far, and then at the end there was this like giant bag of organic gummy bears, like on the coffee table. She was like eating them out of the bag, and she was so happy. And I love gummy bears too, so I was like, what are those? You have to get, someone had sent her. I wonder who it was. Do you know who it was? Had sent her. I thought that was such a good gift to give someone when, you know, in Shiva. But and then she told me that there's a site where you can actually go and buy gummy bears that are kosher, like millions of different kinds. And
For Lily's
For Lily's
she
bat mitzvah.
sent me the link.
that's how we learned about it. It was the same time, yeah, and then it was for Lily's bat mitzvah. And so I go on that site a lot now, and at Stop and Shop, there's only one kind of kosher gummy bears, and I always buy 2 bags, and I always want to just come over to her house and just like hang and give it to her, but I always end up eating them before that happens. So last week I just bought 2, and we ate them at the board meeting on Sunday night. Does anyone else want to say anything? I think we'll have announcements, and then you'll also hear about when there's going to be a Shiva next Wednesday night, and we're so grateful that you came here and that you're sharing this time, and that we get to bring our communities together and to support you, Jason. So, are we doing this? Yeah, I don't know if yeah, great. This is Becky, our board member extraordinaire.
Yes. Hi, I'm Becky Slitt. I'm also a member of the board of Beit Ahava. So welcome to everybody. We are so glad that you are here so that we can all share our memories of Rissa. Welcome to Rissa's family far away. We're so very, very sorry for your loss. I was quiet during the sharing just now because I knew if I started talking, I would just cry and not be able to talk. So instead, I will talk about neutral things like announcements. There is another Kabbalat Shabbat service 2 weeks from tonight, also at 6 o'clock, right here. The following week is the first weekend in February, and the first weekend of the month is our Top Shabbat. Friday, it's February 6th at 5:15 is Top Shabbat. So if you have a tot in your life, please come. For tots, we count as ages 0 through 5. It's a wonderful time. There is pizza and potluck dinner afterwards. And following that at 6:45 is the regular Kabbalat Shabbat service. On Friday, February 20th is the next in our musical Kabbalat Shabbat series with Luke's Onyxman, who has been bringing wonderful, wonderful music. That's at 6 o'clock? Yes, February 20th, Friday, February 20th at 6 o'clock. Looking farther off into the future, we are bringing back McGevitt, Yale's Jewish a cappella singing group. And it's going to be really hard to think about doing that event again without Rissa. But we're glad that we're bringing them back. We are grateful to Bobby Neymark for helping to sponsor the event. And that is going to be on Friday, April 17th. Stay tuned. Other things that are going on that you should stay tuned for, we are about to open our silent auction, which is a new fundraising event. We're still accepting items, or is it closed? We're still accepting items. If you have something, email info@beitahava.org or talk to Bobby. Bobby, is he here? Hi. Yeah. Talk to Bobby. And so that is a really great fundraiser, and we are looking forward to that, doing great things for Beit Ahava. And finally, another upcoming event is there is Kiddush and Oneg immediately following services just down the hall in the Rainbow Room. Please join us, and we can continue to share our memories of Rissa, and I'm so glad that other communities from other parts of her life are here. It's so wonderful to hear about that. So thank you all for coming. Shabbat Shalom, and may this Shabbat bring you all peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Becky. Does anyone else have any other announcements? Yeah.
Adult Ed is happening this Sunday at 1 p.m. There's a link in the newsletter, or probably on the website also. And that's led by Marilyn Glazer.
Great, thank you. And it's on Zoom, just on Zoom. Yeah, I'll share a few other ones too. In terms of supporting Jason, and for this week, there is a meal train, so it's in the email, and if not, just contact one of us, we'll give it to you to bring meals. And on Wednesday night, there will be a Shiva gathering I think we wrote from 5:30 to 8, I think but in the evening. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll start the service. It'll be a short service that I'll lead with others who might be able to be there, and we'll say Kaddish there too, and stay tuned for other things. Rissa's good and close and best friends have wanted to start a fund, so we have established a fund in Rissa's name for Torah, women's education, peace education, and learning. And if you want to make donations, many people have been asking about donating in Rissa's memory, and if you want to, you can see the email or see us after, or you can make a fund and a donation, and it's also on the link. There's a drop down where it will say, you can write it in, but it also will say Rissa's name there. So thank you for those who've already generously donated, and we're looking forward to coming together to find different ways of honoring Rissa. And one idea already in motion is to have a Torah chanting class, with the idea that there would be more adult B'nai Mitzvah, also inspired by Ruth Barham, who had her adult Bat Mitzvah in August. And Luke's Onigman is going to be teaching that. We are thinking it might be a Sunday afternoon thing. So if you're interested in learning to read Torah or chant Torah, whether you've ever done that before or not, or even if you don't know any Hebrew and you want to do it, we will welcome you and make it work. And also for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, this Monday, there's 2 different events. One is from 10 to 12 here at Bombyx, so we are a co-sponsor of this event. And I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's something like MLK Community Fair, something like this. And is that what it's called? Service Fair. I knew there was another word in there. Thank you. Service Fair. And there'll be many different organizations who will share about what they do locally that we can be involved with to help. So many people have been asking, how can I help right now? We're in very difficult times on so many different issues in this country, locally and nationally and globally. But many people have been asking, what can I do? How can I have hope and resilience, and how can I directly be involved? So there'll be a number of organizations. Some are volunteer, you can volunteer, some are spiritual, some are cultural, some are political activism. We also have a small Beit Ahava table. We're looking for some people who could just talk a little bit about what our community does. And so that's Monday from 10 to 12. And also the Beloved Community Project, which is an interfaith project in the greater Northampton area, of which we are part of. Does different actions and learning and events around being able to be prepared for protecting refugees and immigration. And there's going to be a service program sing-along on Monday night, and also a potluck dinner right before that. So the service, I think, is at 7. I could be wrong. Check the website. It'll be on there. And it's going to be at CBI. And the potluck part will be in the school that's adjacent in the parking lot called LGA. So Congregation B'nai Israel on Monday evening. It's also, and are there any other announcements? Lastly, Tu B'Shvat, the holiday of the birthday of the trees, is coming up. So stay tuned or talk to Michelle or Andy or me if you are interested in planning something. Yes.
Dedicate that performance to Rissa on that night. So that will be January 27th, and I can give you that information if you want it.
That would be really, really wonderful. And if you'd like Beit Ahava to co-sponsor, we'd be very happy to, or to send it out to our people too, for sure. So let's turn to the Aleinu prayer, which is on page 200. And 82, this is our closing prayer. And after this, we'll be reciting the mourner's Kaddish. Please rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu v'shabeach l'Adon hakol v'ateiku l'al yotzer reishit shelo asanu k'geratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo samcho kenim kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamalchim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. So the mourner's Kaddish is the prayer that we say when we are in mourning or remembering those who have died. And in a moment, we'll say it. It's on page 294. I don't know if Jason, if you've been in any setting where we've said Kaddish, but we'll say it as a community, and of course we want to say it with you for Rissa, and yeah, and maybe we'll gather around. Maybe we'll even all gather together as we say it, and then we can conclude the service. But I wanted to read this prayer on page 291. At the bottom, it's a poem actually by Hanna Senes, who was Hungarian and had emigrated during World War II to Palestine, and but then went back as a paratrooper to Hungary to warn the people there of what was happening, and she was captured, and she was a poet, and this is one of the poems that she read. I thought we could read it together in Rissa's memory. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. So we're going to turn to page 294. Let's take a moment and share the names if there are others who are saying Kaddish or remembering someone or in mourning. And then I would just love to invite us. It's something I learned recently. When you're newly in mourning, it's hard to just sort of stand in a room and say a prayer and be yourself. And I thought maybe this is like a very big room with rows, so maybe we could all just gather sort of near Jason and the family together as support. But if you could share names, if you have any.
Jerome S. Morris, my father.
Ron Gatsy. Angela Watson, my mom. Margaret Schultz.
It's the yahrzeit for my stepfather, Mark Silver.
And our beloved Rissa. Is that okay if we come and stand near you guys? Okay, great. Maybe you want to come down?
Here, so there can be something on the microphone.
Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
V'yamad
Yamad Tivirach Yerotei, Yamech Malchutei, V'chayechon, Yomechon, V'chay Kol Beit Yisrael, V'agalah V'zizman Karib V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam U'amei Almaya, Yitrach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shmei Tekudashah, Brechu, Ve'ela Mikol, Birchata, B'shirata, Tushpachata, V'nechmata, Damira Be'alma, Imru, Amen. Yehi Shalama Rabba Mishamaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. V'osei Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, V'leinu Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru, Amen. Amen. Shalom Yibromav, Uyase Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Everyone will join us. We have to
Michelle.